Welcome back. This is Ian here along with Chris, sitting down for
Hey.
a review of Voltron.
Season 5.
It's 555, and man,
Little itty bitty, teeny tiny,
it's
little tiny season 5.
throwing me off calling these small bursts of episodes seasons, because I'm still in this mode. When you say season, I'm thinking 20, 22, 26 episodes.
Oh, you still think that? Well, geez. I mean, when you're talking about a streaming station, I know it's going to be around 12, 13, 14. But yeah, these little 6 episodes when they're 22 minutes each.
Yeah.
It's a little. I mean, most movies end up being around the same length at this point. I knocked this sucker out in less than 2.5 hours.
Booking. Now, as you were
Yeah,
saying,
I wasn't done with all the work I was doing on my computer.
Yeah,
by the time this thing was done.
you caught this right as it came out, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
wow. Right on. Yeah,
Way over here in Central Time.
hardcore. I caught these episodes between this afternoon and wrapped the last parts of it up during the evening. What didn't take much to truck through compared to how much ground I had to do to get to this point. I'm happy to be to this point talking with you about it. So
It's a good show, people. If you're wondering, is Voltron still kicking ass and taking names? It is.
Yes.
This was enjoyable.
yeah, it really was. This is one that's guided by its narrative story. I think one of the things that it does really well is take the standard things that you talked a little bit about this too. You're engineered, almost programmed into thinking, oh man, here's what's going to happen. This is what they're setting up. This is what they built, and then that sort of crumbles, and it'll turn into something else, or it'll swap on you. And I love how that happens. I'm still man, I still flash back to the huge battle at the end of the original season with the Black Lion being lost and everything, and a lot of that has echoed all the way into now. I think that's another cool thing about this story. It doesn't lose track of itself. A lot of times you'll have big events that happen that just kind of become inconsequential, but not here.
Right. So, I mean, can I give a good example of this?
Yeah, hit it.
You know how in Star Wars Episode 8 where Ryan Johnson wanted to turn things on his head, but really he's not talented enough of a writer to do it, so it was just all garbage and shock value crap. Just like, well, this is what you thought was going to happen, but just know.
Brutal.
Just know. Yes. Well, no. What this season does is this actually does this. Things don't go the way that you think they would, but they don't go in a way that doesn't make sense.
Right.
Nothing's missed here. When there's some shocking things that happen in this season, everything goes in a very different direction. They tie up a story that's been going on since the beginning of the show.
Yep.
And they added some new elements, and it all makes sense. It's all really good. It's anime. This isn't technically anime though, because this is made in the U.S. But it's animation sci-fi that still has a story that's grounded enough to where it's relatable and it's fun.
Yeah, it is, and I think that's the good part. You're juggling the balance of humor, lightheartedness, exactly where it needs to be, but keeping a really coherent storyline that pulls you in, that you really like. I know I've loved watching the team sort of struggle and try to reform, or from the things that broke apart and what was lost with the swapping of who's piloting which lion, trying to keep this whole operation together. More of all, build up the resistance to resist the Galra Empire, and then even the side dramas are great too between our villains. I love the drama of Prince Lothar. He's got a very different style of running the Empire, what he believes should happen, but really he's got his own side political game happening all the time. That kind of collapses for him a little bit during the at the season's end. A little bit.
You're getting.
I gotta back off a bit.
There.
I gotta back off a bit. Go watch if you want to see how. But
It's
cool. It's really cool.
That's all right. That's all right. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you kind of stunned me on this.
No, I know. I'm clearly that dazzling. So.
The voice acting is great as usual. As a Walking Dead fan, to hear Steven Yen, even though I only hear him for a minute, he's really not. Who's the former Red Lion, Keith? He's not in this very much at all. There's
No.
not a lot of Keith in this, and this is part of what I don't like. I make a comment about the small season, but that's the truth of it right there. These things are basically split up seasons now. It's season 5, and we'll get season 6 before the year's over, but that's still supposed to be season 4. And
Right.
this is supposed to be season 4 that we're in, but whatever. But in that sense, it feels kind of incomplete. So if I have a complaint about this season, it's going to be that I don't like these shorter seasons. We didn't get enough time with him. There's a larger story that they're trying to tell, obviously, as they do with every season, and this cutoff thing is kind of pissing me off.
Right. Right.
That's an example of it right there.
Yeah. You get this kind of shoestring feed. You get just enough fed, and then you get pulled back. You get reeled back in. So.
Now it's going to be half a year before we see anything else.
It will. It will. Although now, if I had this right, I thought we're gonna see some more. In fact, I thought there was just some recent news about this. That it's June 15th, right?
That's pretty soon. I actually don't know when season 6 is coming out yet. I haven't bothered to look. Last time it took a little while. It's been since the fall, so it kind of felt like they were kind of going for a 6-month thing here, every 6 months or so. And I know part of the reason why they're doing this is that they want to be able to change things on the fly if they need to. Anybody, this is the burden of coming out with your whole season at one time, is that if you do something that the fans really didn't like, there's really nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Because you're done. That is the advantage that shows that come out every week have, is that they'll shoot some in bulk, but they have an opportunity to go back immediately if they need to. It's like, the fans are going to be pissed if we do this, and they can wrangle up the crew and go shoot something real quick and stick it in before something comes out. So. I get it, but still, not a fan of these shorter seasons.
Well, this might have been, I'm talking about this next release. Now, actually, this info was right at the end of the last episode. If I remember right, there was a quick
when season 6 was coming out.
Yeah, there was a really quick promo.
I missed it.
It said the battle's going to continue or something like that. But yeah, it had the date, so you don't have to wait long. June 15th.
Oh, that's good.
Yep, coming right around the corner. And I look at this too. Voltron, last I looked, it had a 78 episode commitment. That was said, and we've got about up to 45 now. So, like you said, you get it. You see how they're trying to space all this out, but season 6 might not be much longer than what we have with 5. I don't know, maybe 7, 8 episodes or something like that. But at least we only got a couple months to wait for it.
And there it is, June 15th. Good, not too long.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. But I did like as well even with the short space we had, we did get a walk through a lot of our primary characters too. We got to see more development about the Black Lion. You got to see more development about Pidge. Of course, as you said, not as much Keith for some reasons that are revealed, I think, are earlier on, and the things that he's after and what he's trying to do. But it does a good job, I think, at taking those and just sort of examining each one and then moving on. I think a lot of shows are half-hearted with that. You don't get that kind of thoroughness in, I think, such a short period. So, cool.
No, I agree. As usual, the audio to this show, I actually think the audio all around, the score, the special effects, all of it, I think that's actually probably the best part of the show. It's just the animation's really good too most of the time. Although, and we talked about this before we recorded this, I did notice probably some of the worst moments of animation in this season that I've seen for the show so far. And they are brief, but these are things that drive me nuts. It's like You're Netflix, and
Right.
this is one of your biggest shows. All right, fix this. There's no reason for this. There's moments, especially because they were moments when there's a lot of action going on, and it's just like you said you noticed it as well.
Yeah.
There's some times where the animation is it just gets downright bad. The frame rates drop drastically. There's some inconsistencies in the frame rates, and that has happened throughout the show. But it was the most dramatic with this season. There were some times when the frame rates just drop, and it almost feels like bad anime for a couple moments, which I can't stand. I can't stand the cheap anime, the cheap budgeted anime stuff. Drives me nuts. It's like freaking fast food cartoons, and don't think that's just me on anime. I hate that stuff about American animation too. When I was a kid, I could not watch Hanna-Barbera. I could not watch a lot of the kids stuff because I just it's like this low budget, often recycled garbage, but mainly just this low budget stuff. It's like it's kids, who care? I care. All right, look, you're getting paid good money from advertisers to put this up. Do a better job.
I could give you some nightmares of bad animation if you could see some of the initial releases for the latest Dragon Ball series. Holy.
Oh, no, I've seen enough from Dragon Ball to know that I can't watch it. And people like it, and when I was a kid, I missed a lot of, I thought Transformers was the best stuff in the world, and I still think it's great, but I go back and watch some of those, and, they definitely were picky on, well, this is going to be a low-budget episode.
Right.
And, and then there were the high-budget episodes, especially when they got into Season 3, but, I mean, it drives me nuts. And,
right.
I notice these things now, and I'm still a fan of animation and such, and it's just... Yeah, so I'm, there's some moments in this season where it's like, oh, come on, you just took me out of this whole freaking scene.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
That being said, this is probably still one of the best animations that's on TV right now.
Yeah.
I would say. It's as far as the actual animation, the CGI and the more classical animations blend in, not perfectly, but pretty damn close.
I was just about to comment on that. Again, this is a show where this is done right. You have a lot of animation attempting to blend the traditional design styles of 2D art and 2D canvases with the three-dimensional elements, with blending CG in. It can either look really, really awkward, or it can just work and enhance things and go smoothly. In each episode, each time you see either Voltron appear or the lions separately, they look great. They flow with the action really well. They always add a lot to the scene. Any of the starships or anything else you see, I think, flow pretty well. They don't stick out like sore thumbs, which is great. There are some other series who've tried to push CG in a heavy direction recently, and I really don't like as much. In terms of anime, the Berserk, the current series, has done that. It really comes off as kind of clunky and awkward. I think one of the first times that I remember seeing this style was Appleseed, and that was years back, man. That was in the early 2000s or whatnot. But that's when I sort of started to become aware of that and really start to see that used more, and we've seen it since. So that's something I'm always keeping an eye out for. I recognize we're sort of away from the era of things like Akira, having a masterpiece like that, with every part of that being hand drawn and whatnot. But
right.
Yeah,
that was art for the sake of art.
Yes, it was.
I mean, that's a little different. I mean, most animations in general, 99% of animations, period, nowadays is art for the sake of money, which is fine. That's the business, and that's fine. But I mean, there's heart and soul in Akira.
Yes. And actually, I just kind of wandered into that. Didn't expect to do an Akira plug. Please do yourself a favor. If you've never seen that classic, go watch it.
Yep.
It's a must.
Yep. Yeah, overall this is fun. I the first time they formed Voltron this season, I giggled. It's like, are you gonna always play that same animation every time?
Yeah.
You know what? They should though. They should.
I agree. I was about to say
it's fun, but I mean, for God's sakes, honestly, Voltron from the 80s is when that started. That's why even, when you get
It
all these other
is.
shows where giant machines form into another bigger machine,
Yep.
that's where it started. Yeah, it makes sense in Voltron, but still I giggled the first time. But then at the same time, I'm like, they're going to do it. Yeah, we got to watch it. But then it's like, I don't mind watching this. This is pretty awesome.
Oh, same, man. Like I had like a fist pump. Like, yeah, Voltron's back. And I got that. But this goes along and right in line with the whole transformation theme, and not even giant mecha, dude. I think down in breaking down the anime, the transformation scene. This is a heck, even beyond anime. This is a pretty classic trope. This has gone through everything from Power Rangers to you name it. But it's fun. Like you say, it gives you some grounding. It always gives you something to look forward to. And it's that thing. This is what it's known for. It's the core, it's the heart of the series. So I have fun with it too.
Yeah, and a lot of these shows that do this, that have these scenarios where something morphs or changes or whatever. I mean, obviously they do it to fill time on the screen. It's like, hey, we shot this. We can show this almost every episode. That's it's 2 minutes we don't have to fill. But in this case, I think they do it more out of tradition than anything else. But yeah. I did notice the last time they formed Voltron, no one said it. They just did it.
Yeah.
It was like, form Voltron. I was expecting, it's like, whoa, there it goes.
Oh, man.
They're just doing it. No one said it.
Yeah, you had that lone call out. We got to form Voltron. Boom. Done.
Yeah, then it's just happening. Like the last time they do it in the season, it's like, well, there they go. There they go. One thing I do want to point out, and again, we talked about the story and how great it is. And I agree with that. One of the things that I particularly enjoyed, something that I felt going through this season, was that you can really feel that the Paladins this season are really they're really coming into being an elite team. I mean, a lot of the story leading up until this point has been the struggles that they've had with the team or just being new. I mean, you think back to season 1 and the issues they had just learning these lines and how to use them.
Yeah.
They definitely feel like they've come into their own as a unit and as veterans, and that's kind of cool to see. This show really has done a good job of taking you down this path.
It has. Thinking about that too. I mean, right on in comparison to season 1, how much they struggled, all the infighting and everything else. This really shines through and about how far they've come. I think even faced with some of their greatest challenges in terms of having to go through even restructuring the team, that's not something that broke them. They've come through a lot of adversity, and it shows both in terms of their piloting, how they're maneuvering each situation as a team, and then moreover, how they're able to unlock the full extent of all their abilities to accomplish what they need to do, which is sweet. It's pretty awesome. We're sort of training wheels off now, and we're getting to the meat of it. There's still some awesome space battles that happen. Some intense stuff they come up against. I mean, they regularly find themselves up against fleets. Good thing too, and good timing.
So what do we want to do this for 1 through 10? What 1 through 10 Voltrons? That seems
Voltron's Lions,
too...
maybe.
Okay, we'll do Lions. 1 through 10 Lions. Where would you rate this season?
This specific one, I'm gonna like I said, I'm taking some off for in terms of length, animation. I think I'm gonna hit an solid 8 with this one.
I am at an 8 for the very same reasons. This would be a 10, except for the two things that I noted. The season is too short, and there were definitely some times where the animation just fell flat. I mean, it wasn't like, it was a little weaker. No, there were some times this season where the animation was like, did they bring a 5-year-old in to do that? Did they just like was there a day when it was like bring your kids to work day and they got to do, they created the cells? I mean, there were a couple times where it was really bad. But they are brief, and that is why the show still deserves a solid 8. And if they can fix these two problems, which are easily fixed as far as what Netflix can do with this show, then they'll get a 10, because it's right there.
There you go. Good stuff.
All right.
It's
fine. It's not. If for some reason you're odd like us and you go see Death Wish as well as watch Voltron, then you'll understand that one. But
Oh man.
no, it's good. It's good stuff. I was thoroughly excited and enjoy Voltron. It's one of the highlights of my Netflix viewing every year. Just fix those couple issues.
Same, and I tip my hat to you for encouraging me to get on in. Check out the series.
Dude, that was a struggle too.
It was.
I almost gave up on you a couple times.
It was, but hey, you hung with me. You hung with me, especially because if I say I'm going to do it, I say I'm going to do it, man. If you get me that far, I'm going to do it. You bet I will.
I mean, there was a couple times when you got genuinely agitated with me for.
Yes, I was. Because I'm like, I got it, man. I got it. Just hold up. I got it. But no. Again, if you haven't seen this, if you want to start from the top, this is as good as time as any. Get on in before the rest of the seasons are out. You're going to enjoy this one. Couldn't recommend it anymore. Of course.
Well, even that being said, trying to catch up on a season, they
Right.
are 20, 22 minutes.
Yes.
This is not a heavy lift if you've got to get caught up. Obviously, with every season, it becomes a heavier lift, but there's not. Yeah, this is a good couple days of viewing before you're caught up. It's not too bad.
Right. Good stuff.
It's not like if you decided that you wanted to start watching The Walking Dead now and you've got to go through 7.5 seasons. an hour each. That's or Game of Thrones. That's then you're carving out a few weeks.
Good luck with that.
Yep.
All right. Good deal. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Of course, stay tuned to our channel for other reviews for the weekly show and more movies and previews coming up. As we were referring to, you can find our Death Wish review here on this channel. If you're just looking for an action flick to check out this weekend or any other point,
It's fine.
it's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Let us know what you think of this season. Let us know if you agree with what we said. We both agreed as to why we're not giving it a 10. The animation at times and the short seasons. Let us know what you think of that. This is especially the short season thing. This is something that Netflix is kind of moving into with some of its shows. Let us know if you agree with that or not. If you think that's a good idea or a bad idea. But yeah.
All right. Until then,
There you go.
thank you, people, and we'll talk to you later. Hey people, thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, is there anything to go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great, if you could throw some support, you can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Yeah, who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, pick up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.